What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Sioux Falls Fit and Healthy Show. I am so excited that you are joining us today, and I have an awesome coach, just the spunky little fire breather herself on the show today, and I'm excited to introduce you to Coach Beth. So let's dive in to today's episode. All right, Beth, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I am so excited that you're here. You were just telling me before we got started that all the clients are like, when are you going to do your episode, Beth? So I'm excited to be able to have you on here. And at this time, this is coming out, I think it's like September by the time this is coming out. So excited to be interviewing you because tell you what, you were a client for years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe more, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's kind of just start there.
Okay.
When and why did you originally start coming to Fit Body? So let's start with like when, roughly.
I think it was like 2018, end of 2018, beginning of 2019.
At that time, we were in our old location.
Yep. Down over by Salon Centric.
Yeah.
And that Subway that was over there.
Is that how you found us?
Actually, I was a hairstylist, and so I went to a leads group, and I met you at this leads group. And right at that time, I had been just finished with my personal trainer that I worked with for about a year.
Okay.
I lost 20 pounds working with her.
Yeah.
And then my sessions had ended with her, and I was like looking for something new because going to the gym by myself just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I met you at this leads group, and you were like, I'm CJ.
This is spunky as can be.
Yeah. I was like, I like this guy. He reminds me of myself kind of. Yeah. So and you were like, come check out my gym. And you gave me like a 3-month promo or something.
Oh, sweet.
Like it was the perfect opportunity for me. And I came and I went with Deandra. Do you remember?
Yeah, of course. And Jake Fee. Let's go.
Yep.
Shout out to the Fees.
Yeah, let's go. Really awesome people. So she was one of my really good friends. Yeah. Still is. And we came together for our first workout.
Yeah.
And I think you were on the mic. I'm not sure. There was not very many coaches when I first started.
Yeah.
But the second I walked in, I was like, I like this place.
Yeah.
This is where.
Were we at that time, were we red, white, and blue?
Yes.
We were.
Yep.
Okay.
You had just like been planning to paint everything and change everything else.
Okay. Yeah. And that's wild. Takes me back down memory lane a little bit. Because when I opened Fit Body in 2015, and I think maybe I did an episode on this or something, but I know I've talked with you guys about signing my franchise agreement, not really knowing what I was getting into. Yeah. And then I get this playbook and they're like, well, paint your building red, white, and blue.
Like,
okay. So I did that. But then they're like, oh, hey, we're going to go, version 2.0.
Yeah.
And that's when then the gray walls and the gray mat, because we used to have a blue mat.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Right.
You had changed the mat like right after I had started.
Sure.
It was bright blue.
Yeah. Bright blue.
Very retro. I like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Throwback. It reminded me of like some Captain America type, like I don't know, almost like this red, white, and blue, like go USA.
Yes. Very USA, very patriotic.
Yeah.
So I started after I had met you, and I was in a very different place in my life.
Yeah.
And I was just at a point where I had lost this 20 pounds, but I was kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And so I needed a little bit extra push to get me to kind of where I wanted to go. And I worked with you and Coach Vicky a lot.
Yeah.
Really, you guys changed my life, the trajectory of my life. So that's kind of how I got started as a client.
Because you've had a pretty significant weight loss.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like how much weight have you lost?
Well, pregnant now, but.
Yeah. You're growing a baby.
So that's changing things a little bit. But prior to that, right before, like about 2 weeks before I found out that I was pregnant, I had hit my 100 pounds down.
No way.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I knew that.
I don't know if I told you that or not. But.
Dude, high five on that. You hit 100 pounds down.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is life-changing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And so you started at Fit Body at that point in time. You were 20 pounds down. So you went on to losing another 80 pounds.
Yep.
Like that is just wild.
Yeah.
And I remember you and Deandra coming together, working together.
Yep.
Because Deandra, I think, was who was originally in that group.
Yes.
And then you like subbed for her.
Yes. Well, I was looking for my own and she was like, hey, do you want to go check mine? And
got it.
And then she ended up joining and then I went to a different one.
Perfect. Well, hey, you know what? All things worked out. At that time, were you with your husband?
No, I was not. I was actually with my ex at the time. And he was not very supportive of like the food that I was eating or the exercise that I was doing. And so that made it really, really hard for me. And I did yo-yo a little bit back and forth.
Yeah.
But life happens, things get in the way and that's okay. You know, you kind of got to just pivot and set yourself back up for success.
Yeah. And so let's talk about that a little bit, I guess, because we have a ton of clients that are going to be watching this.
Yeah.
Ton of people that maybe are looking for how to get their health and fitness going.
Yeah.
What does having a supportive significant other or not, how much of a play did that have in your own life?
It means everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, like having that person that is like cheering you on instead of sabotaging you is very, very important. And I think that just having that confidence and building that confidence and then having that person that's like, oh my gosh, you're doing great. Like keep going, keep setting those goals. It's super helpful and super important. So I think very, very much that if your significant other is not supporting you and they're enabling your bad behavior or your bad habits, something needs to change.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, sometimes you do find yourself in that spot where the person that you're with isn't supporting you. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you can't do it, but it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah. So why it took me so long.
Yeah. So when did you end up starting to date Jake? When did you guys?
We started dating in like not really too long after I started at Fit Body.
Yeah.
So I must have been started in 2018 because I started dating Jake in June of 2019.
Okay.
So about 6 months.
Yeah. And so that support there with you, plus finding people at the gym that support you, because then your mom entered the realm of things.
I begged her for so long.
Yeah. When did she start coming?
She started coming like 2 years after me.
Yeah.
She had tried other things. I had put her through boot camp workouts at like Great Life and stuff.
Sure.
And she was like, oh my gosh, every single time I kicked her butt, you know.
Yeah.
And I just tried so long to convince her to come and check out Fit Body.
Yeah.
Finally, she went to a different gym that was similar to Fit Body. And they didn't treat her very well. She didn't have a very good experience. And I said, just come check out my gym.
Yeah.
Like this will change your life.
Yeah.
And so finally I gave her like a 28-day card or something.
Yep.
And she came in and she was like, oh my gosh, now I know what to talk about.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah. That's awesome. And you know, I really do feel like when I opened Fit Body, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the struggle that business ownership can have. I didn't know the struggle that the gym industry could have. I remember I actually had someone that I knew who at the time was very big into like Farrell's. Yeah. And unfortunately, Farrell's is not around. And I say unfortunately because a lot of times people are like, well, aren't gyms your competition?
Right.
And we know we're not competing with gyms. No. We're competing with basically everything that's holding people back from becoming their best self.
Yes.
And the cool thing is, like you said, your mom tried a different gym and good on her. Try where you need to go.
Yeah.
But when I met this guy at Farrell's, he goes, so what makes you think that you can succeed with a gym in Sioux Falls? And I think were
you like, whoa?
it got taken back a little bit because I was like, that's a pretty blunt question.
Yeah.
But I feel that my ignorance was almost my superpower.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what I was getting into.
You're like, we're just doing it.
Yeah, we're just going to do it. Right. And I knew that what would help us was just my passion for people and helping others.
Yes.
And so, meeting you, you know, now that you're helping jog my memory, meeting you at the BNI group and then having you come in and then it was just a small family.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I know when we moved to the bigger central location, we struggled keeping that family feel for a little while, just as we grew, because we ended up hitting a growth spurt.
Which was awesome.
Awesome, which actually was what spurred the ability for us to open West, which is now where you are a full-time coach, full-time client coordinator over at West. And I'm not at West a ton, which will be changing.
Yes.
I'll be there quite a bit, actually.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We had our first West Side only team meeting just not too long ago. And it was fun just to hey, we're this little team. It brought me back to like the OG days.
Yeah, when we had like 5 coaches.
Yeah, that was everybody. That was everybody on the team.
Yes.
But the vibe that I get from the West Side, and not that I don't get it from Central, but is very similar to what I remembered when we were growing the original gym.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Like it's very tight knit. Everybody kind of knows everybody. And if you don't know anybody, you're not afraid to like, she goes to this session or goes to that one. So,
and the next thing you know, they're introducing each other and going to what I found out, which I didn't know, Station 7. Is that
yes.
And what is Station 7?
Station 7 is shenanigans or wherever they decide to go. But they get together and do other workouts like the bungee fitness. They tried that out. Or they go for coffee or they just are really supportive of each other.
Yeah.
I love.
That's so cool. It is so cool to see that. You know, what I'd like to do, Beth, is kind of rewind the clock, 2018, rewind the clock even further. I want to rewind the clock all the way to the point of like, where were you at with your health, your fitness, your confidence, your desire to start this journey?
Yeah.
And also too, even further back, like what led you to the point, losing 100 pounds, imagining you 100 pounds heavier.
I don't even know that person anymore.
They're gone. They're gone.
Not even here.
We left that person behind.
Yeah.
And totally transformed. But what got us to the height of where you were, of wanting to change? And then what clicked when you were like, you know what? I'm going to do it and I can do it.
Yeah. So I graduated beauty school at an all-time high for where my weight was. And I just noticed that other hairstylists around me were small and cute and they seemed very confident. And to be a hairstylist, honestly, you have to have confidence.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any. What I had was very fake.
Sure.
And I didn't want to fake it anymore. I was sick and tired of just being fake confident, fake happy, fake everything.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just add some authenticity to my life and just be better and be more confident in who I was and what I stood for.
Yeah.
So when I was just about done with beauty school, I'd gotten a Great Life membership.
Yeah.
And I had gone and I would get there and, you know, the same story you hear from a bunch of people that go to those big box gyms is you go, you try hard, you give up because you don't know what to do. You go and you go on the treadmill and then you're so exhausted from doing cardio that you're like, I don't even know. Or you're intimidated by weight training and you don't know anything about it. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do my 15 minutes and then I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And you count that as a workout, but really it's not doing anything for you, especially if you're not having the proper nutrition. So after I had graduated, I had started kind of doing that. And then finally I was like, I had a big girl job.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I am going to hire a personal trainer.
Yes.
So I hired her.
That's an investment in yourself.
Yes. And my parents were like, wow, we are so proud of you. And that was kind of the first time that I felt that sense of pride for myself.
Yeah.
And I never really realized how important being proud of who you are is so important in your life.
Yeah.
Like being proud of the things that you've accomplished and that you're working towards is just amazing.
Yeah.
So, so I met Brianna is her name.
Yeah.
And she really, like, honestly, I give her a lot of credit to changing the trajectory of where I was headed. And I had no idea at that time. So anyway, I had bought a couple sessions and she would give me a nutrition guide.
Yep.
And then she would give me a couple workouts. She'd work with me twice a week. And then the rest of the week was on me.
Yep.
So I had to have that accountability with nutrition because she was watching.
Yeah.
She was looking at it.
Yeah.
And then I also had to have the accountability of like, okay, well, if you're not getting your workouts in, you're not going to see the results.
Yeah.
So I worked with her for, I want to say it was like 10 months, maybe a year, something like that. And actually I had set a goal. I was like, you know what? I'm going to lose 20 pounds because I'm going to be in my friend's wedding. And I want to not feel confident in all those pictures.
Yeah.
Because I've been in weddings before where I was like, I don't like the way that I look in these pictures.
Yeah.
So I decided that I was like, you know what? This is my goal, 20 pounds in a year. I think that's doable.
Yeah.
So I worked with her and she definitely helped me get there.
Yep.
So that kickstarted everything for me. And then that ultimately just kind of pushed me like, okay, I did this.
Possible.
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
How far can I go?
Yeah.
Because I had a significant amount of weight to lose.
Yep.
So I was just kind of like, okay, let's see how far we can go. And then when I met you, it was kind of just like this puzzle piece that was missing in it.
Yeah.
It just clicked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't really realize up until actually about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, how important nutrition actually is.
Yeah.
Because I got into really bad habits, working in the salon, not eating all day long, and then just eating everything at night and thinking like, oh, I had enough calories, it's fine.
Yeah.
But really it just, you have to spread it out throughout the day. Balance.
Yeah.
Balance is super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you say that. So as you know, I was just at Fit Body World Conference.
Yeah.
And we had the privilege of having Dr. Gabrielle Lyon
Yes.
there, whose knowledge on nutrition and the female bodies in general, but it's very amazing what she all knows. And she was going on and explaining to us about how there's been studies and stuff that have been shown that your body really can't, it's not bad for your body, but your body can't really do anything with more than like 55 grams of protein per meal.
Right.
And so with you just saying that one meal at a time while I hit my calories, and there is this thing, I think it's called OMAD, one meal a day, OMAD, which in theory, you think about it like calories, sure, it can work. Everything can work for certain people. But when you do that and you hit one meal with that many calories, like you were doing just all at night, your body was not absorbing all of that protein that you're taking in or all of that nutrition that you're taking in. And protein is such a fuel for the body, right? Well, such a muscle fuel. It keeps your muscles full. And then the carbs and fats keep you going. And so when you don't have that, it's all of a sudden like you're running on empty.
Fumes. Really?
Fumes. And then
tank.
And then how many times too, when you did that, would you end up grabbing something else that wasn't nutritious?
Every single time.
Always.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I didn't eat all day.
Yeah.
So I can
allow myself to have this or that. Or,
yeah. And that leads to some like really hard mindset and food relations.
Oh my gosh.
That you then have to like overcome.
Yes. You have to unlearn it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Because all of these things it's been working for me so far, all of a sudden aren't really working it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you really dove into nutrition about 2-ish years ago.
Yeah, a little over 2 years ago.
What would you say was kind of the spur of that?
Realizing how much more energy I had.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I balanced out my macros and I had, okay, I'm going to allow myself this amount of protein for breakfast, this for lunch, and this for dinner.
Yep.
With a few snacks in between that are just kind of like carbohydrates to kind of keep you going.
Yep.
I realized, wow, I can lift heavier weights. I can use my full potential at the gym. And I can just like maximize my weight loss.
One thing you talked about is lift heavier weights. How much of a role did lifting heavier weights play in your weight loss?
A big part.
Because I feel like so many women especially, they think and they correlate, and because the world's done a really good job of this. The world says, or what they portray, is that if you lift heavy weights, you're going to get big, bulky muscles.
And I want to be strong, but I don't feel like I'm bulky.
Listen, I want big and bulky muscles, and I probably don't lift enough weight as I should, but I'll even try to get them lifting heavy weights, and I don't get them. So I'm trying. So I feel that is something that is so powerful because, and that's another thing that we learned from Dr. Gabrielle also, which I mean, we know this, but it's just nice to rehear it, is that when you have more muscle, your body will utilize the food better.
Yes.
Like, because your body, when it's more muscular, your metabolism goes up and it utilizes food better. And it's like you're running on a higher efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so cool to think about.
Right. So you decided I'm going to lift heavier.
Yep.
And so you lifted heavier and even during boot camp.
Yes.
Right. So let's
especially during
kind of dive into that, because Was there other workouts that you were doing also?
I did. I don't do this so much anymore, but for a while there, I was going and just doing like barbell squatting or
Sure.
Barbell lifting, just Great Life as well. And where you can get like maxed out kind of thing. And so I was doing that for a while, but my joints were not
loving it.
Me.
Yeah.
So that was really, really helpful because doing boot camp, you get your cardio and your weight training.
Yeah.
And then getting that little bit of extra weight training is super helpful as well.
Yeah. So when you stopped kind of doing that extra, then you decided, hey, I'm going to just make sure that I maximize my boot camp sessions.
Yes.
I'm going to lift as heavy as I can in boot camp. And I'll tell you, and I'll be the first to tell you, boot camp is high energy.
Yes.
It's high fun. And a lot of times it's very high rep.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be.
No.
And if you can just tell yourself, hey, grab a heavier weight, go a little slower, and really utilize that 30-second or 42-second or 45.5-second, whatever weird interval we're running,
right?
Utilize that to get as many reps with the max amount of weight as possible. It's going to make a big difference.
Yes.
And so I know that at times during the sessions, you'll even tell people like, hey, we're not grabbing, the lightweights for this one.
Yes.
But still people like gravitate towards it. What would be your advice to anyone that might think like, I don't want to lift heavy because I don't want to get bulky?
My advice would be you're not going to get bulky, I guess. I guess my advice would just be to like, if you want to maximize the results that you get from this workout, it's so important to level yourself up.
Yeah.
And I try my best to kind of push people and hand them heavier weights because I know that they're capable.
Yeah.
But I just kind of tell them like, look at me. Like I'm not bulky, but I like to lift this amount of weight for this exercise.
Yeah.
And this is how you tone, really. And so I just feel like it's I don't know. My advice would be to maximize your results by lifting heavier weights.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is your body is capable of so much more than you realize.
You got to get that mindset right.
And I kind of feel like this too. Like life is going to throw you heavy, hard situations that weigh on you. If you can throw heavy and hard at yourself, you're going to be able to overcome what life throws at you that much better.
Yeah.
And so if you can, by choice, pick the heavier weight, by choice, go do the hard thing. When the heavy or the hard thing shows up in your life, you got that.
Piece of cake, man.
You got that because you've already been doing it on your own choice.
Yes.
So then you just overcome that obstacle. That is so cool. So now you're here.
Yes.
You hit your 100-pound down mark.
Yep.
Ended up pregnant.
Yes.
And here we are.
And maybe that had a factor in it. I don't know, but God had a plan either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you wanted to have a baby.
Yeah.
You wanted a family.
Yep.
And so obviously the healthier that mama can be, the more apt or prone you could be to getting pregnant and having that opportunity.
Definitely.
And so here you are right now as we shoot this, obviously not when we air it, but as we shoot it, how far along are you in your pregnancy?
About 6 months.
6 months. You're getting there.
Yes.
You are getting there.
Like 3 left.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy to think about.
And so I know you haven't had a child before. This is your first one, but how has pregnancy gone while being a coach who's high energy on the floor, early mornings, later afternoon, evenings? Like, how has that gone working the schedule that you work while being pregnant? And then too, you had up until just recently a whole second job.
Yeah.
How do you do it? How did you do it?
I prioritize sleep a lot. And that's actually something that's super important when it comes to weight loss.
Yeah.
And it comes to reaching the goals that you have is prioritizing the things that are important, like nutrition, water intake, your exercise, and your sleep. Those are 4 biggest things that I would suggest to like put on the front line when it comes to reaching your goals. So I prioritize my sleep. And I really, really take the time for myself when I had it. I did get a little bit overexhausted, which is why now I only have one job.
I'm so thankful, Beth, that you chose this one as your one only job.
I love this job. I could never. It's probably the best. Actually, when I first started at boot camp, I said you guys were super inspiring. one of the goals that I had was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be like those people.
Yeah.
Something was pulling me towards it, and I never thought it would be possible for me.
That's so cool.
So
proud of you.
Yeah. So the fact that and I started in October.
Yeah.
Last year, just part-time. I came up to, I think, your mom.
Yeah.
And Vicky, and I was like, what do you think? Do you think I could do it?
Yeah.
And they were like, seriously, you want to?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had talked to you a little bit about it, and now here we are.
Yeah.
So
explain that process to me, because that's happened. Now we have, a handful of coaches that first started as client and then turned into coach. Explain kind of the feeling, like you hear, like right now, for example, we are letting our clients know, or letting the world know that we're hiring.
Yeah.
So you heard that we were hiring.
Yep.
What goes on in your brain? So bring us back all the way, like October of last year, you got brought on part-time. But right before that, you had been hearing, hey, we're looking for coaches. What goes on in your head?
Well, that back then is when I had thought, I mean, there's always ways to improve, but that's kind of when I thought that I was like maximum. I was in super good shape. I was dialed in with my nutrition. I was doing great.
Yeah.
And I just I talked to my mom about it, and she's like my biggest supporter.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to all the supportive moms out there.
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
But she was like, oh my gosh, your personality and just the things that you have been through, your experiences and your goals that you've set for yourself.
Yeah. And achieved.
Yes. And really just made it happen.
Yeah.
She's like, you would inspire so many people as a coach. She said, do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what ran through my head initially was a little bit of self-doubt.
Yeah.
But then I had to kind of dial it back and say, okay, here's the thing. You did so many things. Yeah. You accomplished so many goals. Why can't you do this?
Yeah.
Why do you have to doubt yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And really the validation was when I did become a coach, and all of those people that I worked out with for years said to me, you're the perfect match for this.
Yeah.
So that really kind of solidified everything for me.
Let's go.
Yeah. And it was like, okay.
So cool. And so you ended up talking with my mom, Vicky.
Yep.
Put in a resume or an application.
Yep.
And then did you, probably at that time, my mom, you worked with more through like the application process.
Yes.
But then you have to go through a mock session.
Yes.
Well, first let's do this. For anyone that doesn't know, because they probably don't even know that we put the coaches through a mock session.
I don't think so. I had no idea.
Yeah. Explain to anybody watching or listening, like, what is a mock session?
A mock session is basically when you go in front of 3 of us.
Yeah.
And you have to coach a boot camp class, and you have to project your voice. You have to bring the energy.
Yeah.
And you have to, there's so many things that you have to pay attention to, like the timer, the energy, saying people's names.
Yeah.
And then also being able to explain the workouts verbally and then showing them physically as well.
Yeah. So it's a little mini mock session that you get to basically perform. And the cool thing, and like I tell, our team when we're bringing candidates in to go through the mock session, listen, we're not looking for perfection.
No.
We're not looking for like even how good are they at being a coach. What we're really looking for is their willingness to show up.
Yep.
Their willingness to be vulnerable.
Yeah, because it's a very vulnerable place.
Very vulnerable. And their willingness to take feedback. Yeah. Because we kind of go through 2 rounds, right? They go through like 1 round where, hey, you go through and it's like 5 minutes. Yep. 5 minutes of a couple stations. And then we stop the clock and we sit back, and then one of the coaches, and mainly Vicky, then gives you some feedback.
And she's sitting and writing.
Yep, she's writing her notebook.
And you're like, okay,
what is she doing?
Yeah, the whole time.
Yeah. And then she's like, all right, hey, Beth, this was awesome. Good job here. We're going to do it again. And I want to see this.
Yep.
And she gives you a couple things that she wants you to work on. And really what the team is looking for is, hey, did they take that feedback and did they do their best to implement it?
Right.
Because I tell you what, growing Fit Body like we have and growing our team like we have to be able to give each other feedback, receive that feedback, and then implement that feedback.
Yes.
But I tell you what, like learning how to do that with you guys and the team and just everyone that we work with, it's helping me learn how to potentially do it better in life, not just at work.
Well, I don't take criticism very well.
Yeah.
At least I didn't before I started.
Yeah.
Because I was way harder on myself than anybody else was.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's a safe place for me to be able to be vulnerable and be able to say, okay, there are things that I do need to work on.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Because it doesn't come from a place of negativity. It comes from a place of, I care about you and I want you to be the best version of you.
Yeah.
So let's work on doing that.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
Yeah.
So
the one thing that I've really heard is that when someone gives you feedback, whatever it is, it's because they believe that you're able to do better.
Yes.
They believe that you're able to do better. And when I heard that, I was like, man, I actually want feedback then.
Yeah.
Because when someone gives me feedback, they see me in a different light that I can't see me.
Right.
And they're like, I actually think you could be doing this and you're only doing this. And it's like, wow, okay.
Unleash that full potential.
Yeah, absolutely. It took you from 20 pounds down to, I think when you joined the team, it was between 65 to 80 pounds down.
Yep.
And then to go 20 more pounds down. And I feel like that little tick is continually going in you.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen that, your drive at the West Side. You're like, hey, what more can I take on from part-time to full-time to, okay, hey, could I be the client coordinator, to taking that on to, hey, could I start doing strategy sessions and potentially selling Fit Body memberships, take it on.
Yeah.
Could I do nutrition coaching, and just always being willing to learn the next thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that if you're not learning, you're staying stagnant. And I think learning is just a super important part of growth in life.
Absolutely.
So,
and you're either going to ask for opportunities to get better, or life will throw them at you.
Yep. They'll just go in your face.
They'll just be thrown at you. And more times than not, then if you're not ready for them to be thrown at you, you don't know how to handle them.
Right.
And that's what causes risks in your life, because life doesn't stop.
No.
Yeah. So another kind of interesting thing that I found out about you, which I didn't know, and I don't know, maybe I think you told me, maybe Jake told me, I don't know. We've been at a couple different events together lately, baby showers. And
lots of things going on.
Whether it's baby shower for you or for Katie or whatever it was, I don't know. But found out this cool thing between you and Jake, how you decided you wanted to save up for a house.
Yep.
And kind of the action steps that you took to do that. When I learned about that, I was like, man, that's some people okay, I need to do this, I need to do this. You guys are I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
And so explain that, which has nothing to do with health or fitness, but it just it's a very cool story on how you've seen what could be possible, and you and Jake just figured out how to make it happen. Whether it was going to be enjoyable or not, you just ran for it.
Yeah. He's amazing. He is one of the best human beings I know.
I love him.
He's very driven as well. And so when we set goals, when he wants something, I kind of learned this from him, is when he wants something, he's not going to let anything get in the way of making it happen.
Let's go.
So we decided that we wanted to buy a house. We were tired of moving every year from rental to rental.
Yep.
So we bought a camper, which seems kind of weird. You're like, you bought a camper instead of a house. No, we actually bought a camper so that we could live in it inexpensively.
Yeah.
Save money, and then live in that for, I think we lived in it for 8 months.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Saved as much money as we could to be able to look for a house. And I know somebody who is like a brother to me. That was our mortgage lender. And he was like, wow, this is amazing. So helped us find a realtor. And then we saved enough money for the buyer's fees or whatever it is.
Yep.
And we were able to get our house in December 2022.
That is so cool. And when did you get the camper? So it was 2021?
Yes.
2021, so right after COVID.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, so where did you put the camper?
We parked it at the Canton exit, which is why I actually took a pause from Fit Body for a while, because I was living in Canton.
Yeah.
And it was just really hard for me to get here.
Yeah.
Plus at that time, my hair business was growing so much that I was just busy all the time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the healthiest lifestyle, but it was definitely healthy for our budget.
Yeah.
So it was right off the Canton exit at this RV mobile home park. We got to know a lot of drifters, which was kind of cool.
Okay.
And then a lot of the people that worked at the gas station that was right there lived in the park as well.
Oh, cool.
And we got to know them. There was this big red bus that had 10 people living in it. It was
really
crazy. Yes.
Huh. That is so cool. Yeah. And so a drifter, that's someone that lives in a camper and they just
go from place to place.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're headed over to Minnesota. Now we're going to go to Alabama. And Just got to kind of know. And one thing, I don't know if you know this about me, but I love people.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I love connections. So anytime that I can kind of have a connection with anybody, I'll take that opportunity.
Yeah. And I think that that's actually been a really fun part of this kind of Meet the Coach series is there's been these like tiny little nuggets that get brought up in conversation. And the next thing you know, when you're out coaching with the clients, it's like, hey, I actually lived in an RV too, or in a camper for X amount of time. And like, when does that come up?
Never.
In camp? Like, hey, good job doing one push-up. Hey, did you know I lived in a camper?
Right.
Did you? Like, no? Okay. Have a good workout.
So cool.
Talk
I did
about
actually
that.
have a conversation with one of our trial clients, actually Wendy.
Sure.
Who Wendy is.
Yeah.
Her daughter was in for a while, and her husband are actually going to be traveling and living in their little like bus RV thing that they
cool.
feed. So
Awesome.
So that was really cool. I was like, oh, I lived in my camper too. So it did come up once.
Hey, that is kind of cool. Speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about your role as client coordinator.
Okay.
So you are the client coordinator at our West location.
Yep.
What is the client coordinator?
Well, I am the main point of contact between the trial clients, which are the clients that you see that are there on like a 28 days or most of the time it's 28 days.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit longer. But basically, I kind of introduce myself to these people and get them in here and try to make their experience as amazing as possible.
Yeah.
So
part of that process, when we have new trials come in, we do like the first workout reach out.
Yep.
And so you get to get a hold of them.
Yes.
Right after their first workout within the next day or so.
Yeah.
And get to talk with them.
I love it.
The thing that I love so much about, you do it at our West, Jill does it at our Central location, and Jill's gone through her own transformation and fitness journey as well.
Yeah.
But you both, because Jill too, before she started working here, went through a trial program. Mm-hmm. And so you're able to speak to them and really understand like what might they be going through,
yes,
what they might be thinking.
Yeah.
And so you're able to speak to that and be able to connect with them and encourage them on someone beginning their journey, just like you were way back in 2018, 19.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's cool because like these people are a lot of times nervous.
So nervous.
They have no idea what to expect. And I kind of want to just like, I wish I could like see them through the phone.
Yeah.
I wish I could FaceTime every single one of them and just be like, look, okay, this is the most amazing opportunity that you're going to ever have in your life. In this place, I promise, if you let it, it will change your life.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to shake people and be like, you need to be excited because this is amazing.
Yeah. But it's such a nerve-wracking step.
It definitely is. Yeah.
One of the things that we talk about is how one of the heaviest weights that you're ever going to lift is the weight of that front door.
Uh-huh.
You're right. The first time you open that door, that's a heavy door to open. Because the truth is you have no idea what's going to happen on the other side of that door. And so being able to take time to do this and just chat, it's like if somebody's out there that is watching or listening and they hear this that maybe has never tried Fit Body, they are like, wow, okay, I know that when I go to the West location, I might get to meet Coach Beth.
Yeah.
And I'll
probably will.
100%. And I'll get to know that this person was also on a journey of their own.
Yes.
And just help connect because there are enough obstacles that are out there that hold us back from reaching our health and fitness goals. And so at Fit Body, we want to do our best to remove as many of those obstacles. That's right, 30-minute workouts.
Yeah.
Right?
Easy, quick.
So when you were going through, obviously, your weight loss journey, but then even more recently being a coach at Fit Body, being part-time into full-time, being a hairstylist, getting married, now having a baby, and getting your workouts in, how did you find time to get your workouts in?
Well, thankfully, the opportunity at West and at Fit Body too, as a coach, does come up where you get to work out with the clients as well.
Yeah.
So oftentimes I would try to fit it in where I could. If the other coach was okay with it, I could work out with some of like the 8:15 or 9:15.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's you guys are super supportive of that. So you're like, okay, if you don't have time and you have time like in your work day, get that 30 minutes in before you leave.
Yeah.
Or like I would just say to myself, okay, I don't have time today, but I do have time in between going to my 2 jobs. So before I leave this before I leave the gym, I'm going to take 30 minutes. And I'm going to do just a modified version of, especially being pregnant, of the workout. And then I can get my workout in, go home, fuel up, and then go back.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing too, because I feel like one thing is a lot of people think it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it is all
Definitely
or nothing. I think it is understanding fit in where you can fit it in. And whatever it is that you do today, that is more than you would do if you just didn't do it. Right?
Yes.
So I love that. Let's talk about, you said earlier that you were tired of faking it. You were tired of faking your confidence, faking your energy. How much of a mind shift did you have to do? And what did you really do mind-wise, mindset-wise to help you make that shift?
Positive self-talk is very important.
Yeah.
So that is a big, huge part of it where I had to change up the way that I talked to myself.
Sure.
Because if you're constantly sitting there saying, I can't do it, I won't be able to, I'm never going to reach my goals, this is never going to happen for me, then chances are it probably won't.
Yeah.
So when you switch in that mindset, and really Fit Body coaches help you do that.
Yeah.
I try to be the biggest advocate for that because that's what you guys did for me.
Yeah.
So basically you just kind of have to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to kick those negative thoughts to the curb because those are liars. Those are just lies that you tell yourself because you're afraid. And when you hear the saying like fear is a liar, fear is a liar, 100%. So don't let your fear and your insecurities get in the way of accomplishing the things that you know deep down that you are actually capable of. So just switching that mindset from like not believing in yourself to, okay, I reached this goal. What else can I do? That helped a lot.
So a negative thought pops up. And it does because
it's normal. It's human.
Yeah, right. The crazy thing is that you might have a thought pop up, but you don't have to think about every thought that pops up.
Right.
And so sometimes, and I think I did an episode on this a while back, but think about this, like a thought pops up is the same exact thing if you drive by a fast food restaurant or something. You don't have to pull in.
No.
Like you can maybe really like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Taco John's, all these places. You can maybe like that. But we know that if we continually stop there and eat those things, that's not going to help us on our health and fitness journey.
Definitely.
So just because you drove by it doesn't mean you have to pull in.
Right.
Just because a thought pops up doesn't mean you have to think about it. Doesn't mean you have to then believe that thing. And so did you do anything with those negative thoughts? Like did you ever do the thing where you'll recognize that there's a thought and tell it to go away? I'm going to actually think about this. Did you do any like thought replacement type stuff?
Sort of. I would think those things and then I would call somebody. Like I'd be like, okay, I'm letting my intrusive thoughts kind of get the best of me right now. I need somebody to kind of talk me out of it.
Yeah.
Most of the time that person was either my husband or my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love that.
Yeah. So just kind of having someone that sees you in a different light, like you said, can push you towards those other positive thoughts is really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really, that I did in like the beginning stages was actually Coach Vicky told me to do this is when I posted a picture of just like my face from before and after, I had all these people commenting like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. You're such an inspiration. Like, how did you do it? Like just all of those positive affirmations. She said, print that picture off and print all those comments off and put it on your mirror. So then
cool.
So I did that. And then I wrote some like positive affirmations, like keep going. You can be strong and still look beautiful. Like just things like that. Just handwritten notes to yourself. And then you put them on your mirror so that when you look in the mirror, you can replace those thoughts with the positive ones that are written.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I know that obviously you know this and our clients know this, but maybe those that don't come to Fit Body don't know, we send out cards often. And we use this company called Send Out Cards where we can put their picture or put a picture or something on it and then send the card. And at one point in time, I sent myself a card that just had positive affirmations on it. And I think that card is actually hanging in our Central's lounge. And it's like, I am strong, I am confident, and there's a whole bunch of different things that were on it. But for the longest time, I mailed myself that card, and it showed up in the mail, and I opened it, I hung it up, and there's something about having that. And I interviewed a while back a guy named Nick Coulterman. Yeah. And he talks about every day he will write a positive thought on a sticky note, and he just puts it on his mirror. And he's gotten to the point where he's got certain mirrors that you can't even see the mirror anymore. Yeah, it's just sticky notes. Yeah. But the crazy thing is like when you think about this, when you look in a mirror, you see a reflection looking back at you. And a lot of times the reflection that you see looking back at you can be this burnt in image of someone that, because a lot of times when you even go through a little bit of a change, obviously you see a different reflection, but the old self is so burnt into your mind 100%. That you can see somebody different looking back at you, like a different figure, but all you see is your old self. 100%. And you don't see the change. Yep. And so as I think about that, as he was talking about having a mirror completely filled up and all he could see is positive affirmations and positive thoughts, it's like, holy smokes, like that's way more powerful than looking at an actual mirror, because so many times we lived however many years like our past self. Yeah. And now, like if you look at it now, you said that right before you got pregnant, and you've been pregnant now for about 6 months. So only for about 6 months had you hit that 100-pound down, and then you're pregnant. So now that is shifting because you're growing another human inside of you. Yep. That's only like 6 months that's been there, but for years, you've been working towards that goal. Yeah. And so you've got all these years of this different image built into you. And so we have to learn to help ourselves see the actual image looking back at us.
Yes, the new version of you.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is seeing a client walk in on day one. Yep. They're nervous. They're maybe not smiley, bubbly. They don't know if they really are fitting in. I don't love seeing that part. Don't say that I do.
But it's real. It happens.
But you see that. I love seeing that part though. And why I love seeing that part is because I love in a month, 2 months down the road, seeing that person walking in, smiling, high-fiving, fist bumping, and it's like, what's going on here? Yeah. And it's just this whole new fountain of self-confidence. Yes. And I see that in you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Part of that, I think too, with the clients is like, just seeing this whole new version of themselves, because other people, the community that we have at FitBody is so powerful. Yeah. And the more community that is built, the people get to know each other. Yeah. They lift each other up, and that's one of my favorite things.
And that is so cool, because as we all get better, and I tell you what, I get better when our team gets better, when our clients get better. Like I personally feel better when we all get better together. And that's just it. You don't know the impact that other people are having on you. Right. And so if you're surrounded only by people that aren't trying to be better, and unfortunately, the truth is that most people kind of get stuck and they don't really worry about like bettering themselves. And so you can end up getting stuck around groups of people that are just having this influence on you of just remaining the same. Yep. And when you continually surround yourself by people that are continually trying to be better, next thing you know, you're just trying to continue to be better. But then what's cool is that your continued efforts of being better now start reflecting onto others. Mm-hmm. And it's like this ripple effect where everybody just starts getting better. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this fountain that just kind of overflows.
Yeah. Yeah. Really cool. I love that. I
definitely have noticed that in myself too. Like since I started coaching, like not that I've ever been shy, because I don't know how to do that, but yeah. But definitely just like bringing in new clients, and the personality just kind of comes out even more.
Yeah. So absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
So kind of changing tunes here just a little bit. You are pregnant.
Yes.
You plan on having this baby here, hopefully this year. Yeah. By the end of the year. Do you know if you're having a boy or a girl yet?
We do not know.
You're not finding out?
Nope.
I love that.
Super surprised.
I love that. So do you have a room yet for the baby?
Yes. Mom and I actually got it painted and ready to go like 2 weeks ago.
I love that. I love that. And so have you decorated the room yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I'm kind of waiting because I know people will gift lots of things.
Yeah.
So I don't want this abundance of cow stuff, but it is cow themed.
Why is it cow themed, Beth?
Because I love cows.
Is that your favorite animal?
Yes. Every time I see one, I don't know. I just have this infatuation with cows because I think they're really cute. They're like gigantic dogs.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Have you ever like pet a cow?
Yeah, I got to bottle feed a cow one time.
Okay.
That was pretty cool.
Change your life?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what like did it for you. Okay.
I was like, this is my life. I need to live on a farm even though I don't know anything.
Do you feel like ever in your life you'll own a cow?
I want to, but probably not.
I want to. I want
it's realistic.
What about a pig?
They're so cute, but I feel like they're just a lot of maintenance. I don't know about this.
Okay.
I have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
And I think
you
that's
do?
enough.
You've got 3 dogs?
Yes.
What are your dogs' names?
Leo, Benny, and Juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leo, Benny, and Juice. And what kind of dogs are these?
My oldest dog, Juice, is a mutt of all mutts.
Okay.
He's really cute. He's a mix between a Beagle, Dalmatian, and a Pit Bull.
Oh, wow.
Jake would say that he doesn't have Beagle in him, but he definitely does.
He has a Beagle in him?
And then my middle dog is a mini Australian Shepherd. His name's Leo.
Okay.
And he is my baby boy. Jake actually gave him to me as a birthday gift like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
Very cool.
And he's super, super chunky, but I love him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like the tiniest little chunk in the whole wide world, but it's great. And then we rescued Benny from the Humane Society 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And he is a Blue Heeler Border Collie mix.
Oh, cool.
And he's very smart, too smart for his own good.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know you had 3 dogs.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love dogs.
I love that. That's so cool.
Maybe that's why I like portrayed my infatuation onto cows. No.
Who knows? But so Beth loves cows.
Yep.
And she would have a cow if she could.
I could.
But she's got 3 dogs, husband, Jake, baby on the way.
Yep.
Lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Wild, loves helping others lose weight. We're going to end here quick because I feel like we could talk all day
forever.
long. I didn't even realize we're already like 50 minutes in.
Oh my gosh.
Love it. But I want to know, when you think of one of your favorite parts of being a coach, what comes to mind?
You know this, but, and maybe other people know this too, but my empathy is very, very large. And so coming alongside somebody who was at or is where I was, is very, very inspiring to me because I love to be able to help people the way that you guys helped me. So my favorite part is seeing that change in people when they hit that milestone of a weight loss goal or they hit 200 sessions and they've gotten so much stronger, more confident, just being able to kind of help people along their journey too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And we're going to wrap this episode up. But I do want to ask, and I ask all of our team or all of our interviewees, guests on the show, I ask, hey, if there's one piece of advice that you could give someone, maybe they're on the fence of starting a health or fitness journey, whether it's at FitBody or not, I don't care. But if they're on the fence, what type of advice would you give somebody as it pertains to their health and their fitness journey?
It's okay to put yourself first.
Yes.
It's okay to prioritize your health and your fitness, even though life gets in the way sometimes. And just keep going.
Yeah.
It's okay to put yourself first and don't let the intrusive thoughts win. Just keep going, keep moving forward and put the energy into yourself because it will be worth it.
I love that. I think that's an awesome note to end this on. And man, I just thank you for taking the time. I know that you worked all morning and then you just got off and you headed over here. So I appreciate you taking some extra time out of your day to meet up and shoot this episode. But you guys, you heard Beth and she said, don't be afraid to put yourself first. So as you end this episode and you go out throughout your day to day, remember that you cannot fill others up if your cup is empty. So fill your cup up, do something for yourself, and know that you are worth it. You can do it, and we believe in you. So, hey, have an awesome day. If you guys want to come hang out with Coach Beth on the West Side, I'll put a link in the description or the show notes of this episode. You can grab a free week at FitBody, and we'd love to just welcome you in. And if FitBody's for you, we'll lock arms. And if FitBody's not for you, we will wish you well on your way and know that we're always here cheering you on. But grab that link, grab a free week, and we'll see you at the gym. You guys have an awesome day, and thank you for tuning in to the Fit and Healthy Sioux Falls show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode. Bye, guys.